This is WFYI News Now. It's August 27th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, Indianapolis Public Schools must transfer 2 closed school buildings. A crime prevention program could lose a large chunk of its city funding next year. And the LGBTQ community in a small northeast Indiana town recently hosted its first Pride Festival amidst strong opposition.
You knew how things are. This is a big step. It really is.
Those stories coming up, but first, the sale of a key piece of Indianapolis real estate owned by the state of Indiana is now official. The state announced Monday it finalized the sale of the old GM stamping plant site to Elanco Animal Health for $27 million. Redevelopment plans have been in the works for years, and Elanco is almost finished building its global headquarters on the site. Other plans for the 100-acre site include a new health innovation district in partnership with Purdue University, the city, and others. The district may include research facilities and labs alongside offices, housing, retail, and green space. An expansion of the White River State Park is already underway on the property. The site sat empty for a decade after operations at the stamping plant stopped in 2011. Indianapolis Public Schools will transfer 2 closed school buildings after a long legal fight over the state's so-called dollar law. Eric Weddle reports the law requires districts to offer unused schools to charter operators for just $1.
The district says Raymond Brand School 65 will be offered for sale or leased to charter schools for $1. That follows a recent state court ruling that forced IPS to comply with the law. One interested operator is DeMar Charter Academy, which serves students with learning and behavioral challenges. IPS leaders say they would prefer to decide how to reuse the building, but will follow the court order. The district will also sell another site, Francis Bellamy School 102, to local youth nonprofit Voices for $550,000. I'm Eric Weddle.
A crime prevention program that advocates say is helping Indianapolis curb violence could lose a large chunk of its city funding next year. Mayor Joe Hogstett's administration is grappling with the impact of property tax cuts passed by the state legislature. In response, agencies have been asked to trim their budgets. Our partners at Mirror Indy report the Office of Public Health and Safety has proposed pulling $1 million from the Elevation Grant Program, a local initiative addressing the root causes of crime. It supports community organizations working to improve neighborhoods, crisis prevention, and people at risk for gun violence. The Elevation program received a boost in funding between 2022 and 2024 after Hogsett dedicated about $45 million in federal pandemic relief money to it. And for our final story today, Grassroots Pride events supporting LGBTQ people are growing across rural and small-town America, including at least 42 this year in Indiana. Zach Castle reports how one northeastern community hosted its first Pride Festival in June, despite strong opposition.
The Decatur City Council approved a permit in early May for Decatur Pride's first festival downtown. Opponents expressed outrage online, especially over the planned drag show. Even Decatur ministers met to decide how to respond. People filled the City Council room to voice concerns in late May. Some demanded the city revoke the permit. Nikki Osland, president of Decatur Pride, was in the room.
I felt every emotion. I felt like, oh my God, what are we doing? Did we make the right choice? Oh my God, this is exactly why we had to do this. My heart was racing.
Nearly 30 people from Decatur and outside the community spoke, some in harsh opposition. Dina Blakey, a resident, said she doesn't want drag queens or transgender people downtown.
I never, ever dreamed that Decatur would allow something like this, so evil and so immoral.
Osland said it was painful to witness.
It was hard to sit there and listen to what people had to say about my community, that we're pedophiles, that we're groomers, that we're abominations, all of those things. On a human level, it's just hard to hear.
But to the Pride organizers' surprise, about half spoke in support. Chris Vergara said homophobia in the town impacts young LGBTQ residents.
Just the amount of bigotry in this town is completely and utterly disgusting.
After the hearing, Osland and the other organizers faced threats, pressure to move the event indoors, and to cancel the drag show. The police chief warned them not to break obscenity laws. Despite the pushback, organizers said the event would continue as planned.
The queer community has hid for long enough.
In many ways, Decatur Pride's challenges mirror what LGBTQ people across Indiana face. State government and Trump administration policies have targeted the LGBTQ community. Nearly 20 organizers of Indiana Pride events told WFYI that support is mixed this year. Organizing has been more difficult in some places due to increased harassment and political pressure. This climate spurred action in Decatur. Some members of the Adams County Democratic Party talked informally outside of meetings, said Pride organizer Christine Bright.
But ultimately, we decided that not only should we do it, it has to be done this year because we need to make the statement that there are safe people here.
They asked longtime Decatur resident Osland, a 911 dispatcher, and a lesbian to lead the organization. On festival day, event organizers were tense. The local Church of Christ hosted a prayer vigil. Police designated a protest area near the festival. Law enforcement presence was heavy. Only a handful of protesters showed up in the end. Osland was keeping watch.
There's our protesters now,
Okay.
carrying signs, yeah.
Just one of them? Oh, I see.
Hey, he can't have signs in here. We have a rule, no signs.
Organizers thought maybe a couple hundred people would show, but over 1,000 people filled the plaza. Attendees, volunteers, and others told me how they felt that day. Gavin Bullock from nearby Bern was relieved.
I was excited but nervous, but as the day goes on, I'm more settled for sure. I'm really happy, glad to be here.
It was Decatur resident and volunteer Sebastian Hathaway's first Pride. He recently came out.
It makes my heart happy that people feel safe to come out, that they don't feel scared.
Audra Brevi has lived in Decatur for almost 39 years.
If you knew how things are, this is a big step. It really is.
The drag artists performed for a cheering crowd. They said they tailored the show to the family-friendly event. Lucas King performs under the drag name My Opinion. He grew up nearby.
We are here having a good time, supporting each other as a community. It's not any different than your football game.
But the successful event ended with lingering hostility. As organizers cleaned up, they say someone drove by, shouted an anti-gay slur, and hurled a brick. Osland says it's a sobering reminder.
We have to be vigilant. We always have to be aware of our surroundings because there are people out there that want to do us harm.
Organizers say Decatur Pride will return next year, stronger and safer. I'm Zach Castle.
16 more Indiana communities will host Pride events through October. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.